The galaxy was a vast place filled with countless species, each with its own culture, traditions, and strengths. Among them was the Yornax Confederacy, a coalition of warrior races known for their discipline, strength, and combat prowess. The Yornax were led by the mighty Syrinx, a species famed for their tall, muscular frames, multi-layered skin that could harden to deflect blaster fire, and a strict code of honor in combat. The Syrinx, along with other warrior races in the Confederacy, believed themselves to be the ultimate fighters of the galaxy, unparalleled in their tactics and sheer force. But rumors had begun to circulate within the Confederacy about a new species that had recently ventured into the galaxy's core systems, the humans of Earth. The Syrinx and their allies saw humans as curious creatures, fragile-looking compared to the armored scales and hardened exoskeletons of their kind. Tales spread about the humans' weak appearance, short lifespans, and lack of advanced biological defenses. In Yornax's eyes, humans seemed like an insignificant species with little to offer beyond their newfound interest in exploring the stars. These initial impressions led the Yornax to dismiss humans, even as whispers circulated about the species' impressive adaptability. According to some accounts, humans had managed to survive harsh planetary environments, quickly adjusting to conditions that would be inhospitable to most other races. Despite these tales, the Yornax dismissed humanity's capabilities, deeming them amusing at best, insignificant at worst. Captain Raxer, a respected commander among the Syrinx, was especially unimpressed. He saw humans as a novelty in the galaxy, untested and unproven. To him, the fact that humans dared to venture into Confederacy space was almost insulting, a blight on the reputation of the galaxy's true warriors. "Have you heard?" Raxer scoffed, addressing his lieutenant, Zalthar, as they monitored activity in a nearby sector. "These humans think they can explore the galaxy without understanding the dangers that await them. They don't know what real strength is." Zalthar, younger but equally disdainful of humanity, chuckled. "Perhaps they'll learn when they cross paths with us. A little encounter with true warriors will put their curiosity in check." At that very moment, a lone human exploratory vessel, the SS Dauntless, entered Yornax space. The Dauntless was a sleek, well-equipped ship designed for long-range exploration, but it was built more for reconnaissance than combat. Its crew of 30 was a mix of scientists, engineers, and a handful of military personnel, including Captain Emma Wallace, a seasoned officer who had been with the Interstellar Alliance since humanity's earliest ventures into the stars. Captain Wallace was aware of the Yornax Confederacy's reputation but remained unfazed. She believed in the value of diplomacy and exploration and was determined to make first contact with the Yornax a peaceful one. However, she had also been briefed about the Yornax's perception of humanity. She knew they considered humans weak, and she could sense a confrontation was likely. As the Dauntless ventured deeper into Yornax space, its sensors detected several large, fast-moving ships on an intercept course. Captain Wallace activated the comm system, broadcasting a universal greeting to signal their peaceful intentions. "This is Captain Emma Wallace of the SS Dauntless. We come in peace and are here for exploration and diplomatic contact. We wish to understand your culture and forge a path of mutual respect and cooperation." The message was clear, direct, and unmistakably diplomatic. However, it was met with silence. Then, after a tense few moments, the comm system crackled to life. "This is Captain Raxer of the Yornax Confederacy," a deep, rumbling voice replied, filled with disdain. "Humans, you have entered our space uninvited. The galaxy is no place for fragile creatures like yourselves. You think you can explore, but you do not understand strength." Captain Wallace took a deep breath, choosing her words carefully. "Captain Raxer, we respect the Yornax Confederacy and wish only to learn from each other. We do not seek conflict." Raxer's laughter echoed over the comms. "Learning from us? You are welcome to try. But know this, Captain Wallace, only the strongest survive in our space." With that, the line went silent, and the Yornax ships resumed their rapid approach, clearly intent on intercepting the Dauntless. Captain Wallace's heart raced. She had prepared her crew for first contact, but not for an outright confrontation. She glanced at her tactical officer, Lieutenant Kane, who nodded grimly. "Captain, we're outmatched," Kane said, studying the Yornax ships on the display. "Their vessels are heavily armed, and they're closing in fast." Captain Wallace set her jaw, a sense of determination hardening her resolve. "Then we'll show them that humanity doesn't back down." Section 2. As the Yornax ships closed in on the Dauntless, the tension aboard the human vessel was palpable. Captain Wallace ordered the shields to full power, and her crew began preparing for evasive maneuvers. The Dauntless was not designed for combat, but Wallace knew that underestimating her crew's ingenuity would be a mistake. They were trained to think on their feet, to use every tool at their disposal to overcome challenges. The Yornax ships, large and menacing, soon flanked the Dauntless on both sides. Their sleek, armored hulls gleamed ominously under the starlight, bristling with advanced weaponry. Captain Raxer's voice crackled through the calms once more. "Humans, this is your last chance. Surrender your vessel and prepare to be boarded, or face the might of the Yornax Confederacy." Captain Wallace looked around at her crew, all of whom were awaiting her orders with steadfast determination. She addressed Raxer, her voice calm and unwavering. "Captain Raxer, I respectfully decline. We're here as explorers, not as victims." Without further warning, the Yornax ships opened fire, and the Dauntless was rocked by a barrage of plasma shots. The shields held, but only barely, and alarms blared throughout the vessel. "Evasive maneuvers, now!" Wallace commanded. The Dauntless engines roared as it darted and weaved, narrowly avoiding a second volley from the Yornax ships. Wallace knew they couldn't keep this up indefinitely. She needed a plan, and fast. Lieutenant Kane analyzed the Yornax ship's weapon systems. "Look for any weaknesses we can exploit." Kane's fingers flew across his console as he studied the Yornax ships. "Captain, their weapon systems are powerful but short-ranged. If we can lure them into a dense asteroid field nearby, their targeting systems might struggle." Wallace's eyes lit up. "Good thinking, Kane. Set a course for the asteroid field." The Dauntless veered sharply, speeding toward the asteroid belt as the Yornax ships followed in hot pursuit. The dense field of floating rocks and debris loomed ahead, and Wallace knew it would be a risky maneuver, but it was their best shot. As they entered the asteroid field, the Yornax ships began to falter. Their larger size made it difficult for them to navigate the treacherous terrain, and their targeting systems struggled to lock onto the agile Dauntless amidst the constantly shifting asteroids. Captain Raxer, watching in frustration, bellowed over the comms. "Cowards! Hiding among rocks will not save you." Wallace responded with a wry smile. "Survival isn't cowardice, Captain Raxer. It's a skill, one that humans have perfected." Using the asteroids as cover, the Dauntless managed to evade the Yornax ship's attacks, weaving through the field with remarkable precision. Wallace and her crew employed every trick they knew, from redirecting power to the engines for quick bursts of speed to using reflective surfaces on the asteroids to confuse the Yornax's targeting systems. The longer the chase went on, the more frustrated Raxer became. He had expected an easy victory, a display of Yornax superiority. But these humans were proving to be more resourceful and resilient than he had anticipated. The Dauntless moved like a shadow through the asteroid field, each twist and turn a testament to the skill of its crew. As the Yornax ships continued their pursuit, their frustration grew. Despite their superior firepower, they found themselves unable to close in on the smaller, more agile human vessel. Captain Wallace and her crew took full advantage of their nimble ship, darting between massive asteroids, leaving the Yornax struggling to keep up. Captain Raxer, who had expected an easy show of force, felt his confidence waning. These humans were not behaving as he had anticipated. Where he had expected panic, he saw coordination. Where he had hoped for submission, he found defiance. The asteroid field, which had been intended as a trap for the Dauntless, had become a refuge for the humans and a quagmire for the Yornax. "Captain Wallace," Raxor snarled over the comms, "you are only delaying the inevitable. Your species is fragile. Your ship is weak. You cannot withstand the might of the Yornax." But Wallace knew the truth. Humanity's strength did not come from physical superiority or advanced weaponry, it came from adaptability and resilience. She replied, her tone even and unwavering, "You underestimate us, Raxor. Humanity may not have the natural advantages your kind possesses, but we've learned to make the most of what we have." The Yornax commander's frustration was mirrored across his fleet. The asteroid field disrupted their sensors, and the smaller Dauntless was always one step ahead. The Syrinx warriors, who had spent centuries in conflict, were unused to this type of warfare. They relied on brute force, overwhelming their opponents with sheer power, and were unprepared for a battle of attrition. On board the Dauntless, Wallace's crew worked tirelessly to stay ahead. As they evaded the Yornax ships, Lieutenant Kane continued to analyze their movements, looking for any sign of vulnerability. "Captain," he called out, "the Yornax ships seem to have difficulty maintaining their shields in the asteroid field. They're taking minor impacts that would normally be absorbed, but the asteroid fragments are putting a strain on their systems." Wallace's eyes narrowed thoughtfully. "If their shields are weakened, we might have a chance to turn this around." "What's the status of our offensive capabilities?" "Minimal, Captain," Kane replied. "But if we focus fire on one of their ship's engines, we might disable it long enough to create an opening." Wallace nodded. "Target their lead ship's engines. We'll give them something to remember us by." As the Yornax ships continued their pursuit, the Dauntless suddenly pivoted, moving from a defensive retreat to an offensive position. The crew focused their limited firepower on the engine of the lead Yornax vessel, launching a carefully calculated attack. Plasma beams struck the engine housing, and sparks erupted as the weakened shields failed to fully deflect the assault. The Yornax vessel shuddered, its engine sputtering, and for the first time, Raxor realized that he was facing a serious threat. The Dauntless, though outmatched in firepower, was proving to be a worthy adversary. He clenched his fists, pride stinging, as he watched his ship's systems struggle. But Wallace was far from finished. With the Yornax fleet now in disarray, she saw an opportunity to end the engagement on her own terms. "Lieutenant Kane, open a channel to the Yornax command ship," she ordered. When Raxor appeared on the view screen, his expression was a mixture of anger and disbelief. "What are you trying to achieve, human? Do you truly believe you can best us?" Wallace's voice was calm and steady. "Captain Raxor, this confrontation has been unnecessary. Humanity has no desire to challenge the Yornax or prove superiority. But we won't be bullied or intimidated. You can continue this fight and risk more damage to your fleet, or you can allow us to continue our journey peacefully." Raxor's pride was wounded, but the damage to his ship was undeniable. He glanced at his crew, who wore expressions of doubt, uncertainty chipping away at their confidence. The Syrinx commander took a deep breath, considering his options. It was clear that this human vessel, despite its limited strength, had outmaneuvered him. After a tense silence, Raxor finally spoke. "You may continue on your way, Captain Wallace. But know this, the Yornax Confederacy will not forget this encounter. Your kind may have escaped today, but the galaxy is vast, and the Yornax are not easily deterred." Wallace nodded, her gaze steady. "Nor is humanity, Captain Raxor. We'll be watching." The view screen went dark as the Yornax ships began to pull back, engines damaged but operational. The Dauntless crew let out a collective sigh of relief, but their respect for their captain grew tenfold. She had faced down one of the galaxy's most feared warrior races, not with brute force, but with strategy, patience, and diplomacy. With the Yornax fleet retreating, Captain Wallace allowed herself a moment of quiet satisfaction. Her crew celebrated, sharing relieved smiles and quiet words of pride. The Dauntless had survived a trial by fire, and in doing so, they had proven that humanity was not to be underestimated. The story of the dauntless encounter with the Yornax spread across human and alien territories alike. News of humanity's unexpected resilience and Captain Wallace's daring maneuver in the asteroid field reached distant corners of the galaxy. Many viewed the encounter as a pivotal moment, a sign that humans, though new to the galactic stage, possessed qualities that made them formidable. Back in the Yornax Confederacy, however, the tale was told with a mixture of respect and bitterness. Captain Raxer's pride had taken a severe blow, but he could not ignore the ingenuity and resolve that the humans had displayed. He convened a council of his own, discussing the humans' unexpected strength with his most trusted advisors. "This species may appear fragile," Raxer admitted, his tone heavy with reluctant admiration, "but they possess a tenacity I have rarely seen. We would be wise to consider them carefully in the future." For humanity, the encounter with the Yornax became a lesson in the power of adaptability. Captain Wallace and her crew returned to Earth as heroes, their tale a testament to humanity's ability to overcome even the most daunting of challenges. The Interstellar Alliance took note, recognizing that humanity's unique strengths lay not in their technology or physical prowess, but in their spirit. As the Dauntless and its crew prepared for their next mission, they knew that the galaxy would never view humanity the same way again. Other species, both allies and rivals, began to see humans not as fragile newcomers but as adaptable, intelligent beings capable of holding their own against even the most established warrior races. And for Captain Emma Wallace, the encounter with the Yornax was only the beginning. She understood that humanity's journey through the stars would be filled with challenges, but she welcomed them, confident that humanity was ready. Standing on the bridge of the Dauntless, she gazed out at the vastness of space, her heart filled with both determination and pride. Humanity's place in the galaxy was no longer a question, it was a statement, etched in the stars through the courage and resilience of those who dared to reach for them. The galaxy had underestimated humanity once, but as Captain Wallace and her crew had proven, they would not make that mistake again.